And team, welcome, welcome. This is not my call. It's Kirsten and Kerrie's call tonight, but I just want to give a 1 minute, maybe a minute and a half at most, commercial for Luminate, our new Juice Plus product. For those of you that weren't at conference, I just finished drinking mine. I'm trying it as an afternoon kind of pick me up to see how it feels. I don't know yet, but it's really nice I see it as a mocktail. Kirsten, I can see you inventing all kinds of mocktails, seriously, with Illuminate. But what I want to really encourage you to do is to check Broadcast Voxer. I've put all of the graphics on Luminate, all of the fact sheet, all of the ingredients is on boards. Go to the Broadcast Voxer. It will tell you where to find it. I've also put the reels on. Everything is there under Luminate. So go to Broadcast Voxer and it will show you. It's all about mental clarity, focus, stress relief, anxiety relief. Have I missed anything, Patty or Leslie, on terms of what we've learned about it?
Yeah, clarity and energy, and what's it? Adaptogen. I love that term just because it makes you adapt to, if you're feeling down or you're stressed, it kind of deals with, it helps you to kind of level out.
So nootropics, nootropics. That's the way you say the word. It's nootropics. It's pronounced nootropics. It has nootropics in it and adaptogens in it, but you can read more. I'm going to suggest that you do it ASAP. I'm going to suggest that Thursday night is their call for everybody to learn more about it. I am thinking that maybe Thursday night or Friday morning, they will open up sales to the rest of you. We got to order right while we were there. It comes in sticks that look like this. Sorry, just like this. This is it right here. You just rip it open, pour it in hot water, cold water, shakes, whatever tea, whatever you want to put it in. You'll figure it out because there is a fruity kind of flavor. And then again, I posted on Turn Up the Heat. It may be 20 messages up, but I would suggest you look and find them. Very important. I posted pictures of me drinking my Luminate, holding my sticks. I'm going to be doing more live. I'm finding ones from other distributors like Ashley Hudson, who has already made her own little videos of her pouring and all of that stuff. So I'm going to encourage you. This is something that we can really fly with. It's not for everybody. It won't be for everybody. Children are not supposed to drink this because it's got herbs in it, and those aren't always best for children. It's got a warning label on it to ask your doctor if you're pregnant, because again, herbs sometimes don't agree with certain kinds of situations. For example, I have autoimmune stuff. My doctors tell me not to take echinacea with it. Echinacea is a great herb, but I'm not supposed to use it. So there's some things that you need to know about it, but the facts, the FAQs on boards are there. Start bringing this up with everybody you know, anybody that's specifically a coffee drinker who's looking for an energy lift in the day. This could be it for them. One thing I have to tell you, it does have 80 milligrams of caffeine from the coffee berry, not from a roasted bean. I can't drink coffee because it gives me the jitters. This is the third day in a row I've drank this, no jitters. So I'm excited about that. And I was able to go to bed when I normally go to bed, so it didn't keep me awake all night long. But play with it. The minute they tell you to get your order in, I would just offer that up to you. So I'm done. And I am turning this over to you, Kirsten.
Great. Thank you so much, Nikki. And I think it's really appropriate that our new product's name is Luminate. I just returned less than 24 hours ago from the total solar eclipse, which is why I changed my background here. So it's all about light, all about love tonight. And I just welcome all of you. So it's April 9th. It is Transformational Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month. And this presentation and presenter by Kerrie Davis Howell tonight is especially near and dear to me. Kerrie was an amazing mentor and a role model and leader for me, being a sideline buddy when I entered the business 8 years ago. And she's just, for any of you who know Kerrie, she is a woman of heart. She has a really exciting topic to me tonight. And I love that she's really shifted the language that many of us get stuck in about constantly finding balance, right? We're always looking for balance, balance. And for those of us who are driven, who are busy, who are trying to go out and change the world, a feeling of balance rarely happens. So she shifted the language, and I love it. She's calling this finding work-life blend. So I really love that, Kerrie. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about Kerrie before I turn this over to her. She lives in Arizona, and her background is that as a single mom, she was a really driven corporate leader. She worked in credit and collections, and she had to, her health really suffered because of it. She was really discouraged, stressed out, burned out, and was in pain most days. So she was introduced to a healthier lifestyle by her chiropractor in 2010. And in 2011, the perfect storm was created. She was tired of long hours, expectations, and a host of health issues, and she left her corporate job in 2011. So she took a leap of faith back then to start her Juice Plus business and her wellness journey, and she's never looked back. And if you look at pictures of Kerrie back in 2010, 2009 compared to today, it's an amazing transformation. So Kerrie's helped hundreds of people change their lives and their health with small, simple changes. The income options have allowed her to leave her corporate work behind. She married the love of her life, Larry Howell, in 2019, and they collectively have 3 children, 4 grandchildren. They love traveling and living a life of choice. So they've just purchased a home in Casa Grande, Arizona. And both of their passion is to serve others. So she's actively involved in mission work with her church and a local ministry serving the needs of American Indians at a local reservation. Her husband is like the Energizer Bunny, for those of you who do not know him. He's 76 years old, still painting homes up and down on ladders, and has so much energy. Kerrie believes that God created our bodies miraculously and has given us the food to nourish them. She's more excited than ever about her future, and with guiding and teaching us tonight. So for those of you who did not get the memo, Kerrie requested, I should have said this at the beginning so you could have run and gotten it, but she did request that we have pencil and paper tonight because we do have an activity that she has planned. So with that, Kerrie, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah. If you just, and it's not a lengthy activity, but if you have some paper and a pencil, it would help you. I'm going to share my screen. Let me get back to the beginning. Well, maybe. Hold on a second. Okay, we'll go from the beginning. Oh, it's just not going to do that.
Maybe it's the solar flares and the eclipse that are making all of our tech challenges today. You've got this, Kerrie.
I know.
Yeah, she's got it.
From beginning, and it's still not going to do it.
Wow.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm actually
we realize that there are some changes to PowerPoint, which are actually making it more difficult to navigate and share screens with PowerPoint on Zoom. So
yeah.
There's the beginning slide.
Current slide. Here we go. Look at
Yay! Persistence.
Adjustment with persistence. Let me hide this little guy right up here. Hide the floating meeting controls. That's better. So I'm really excited about this evening because I've been working in this journey for at least 3 years. I know, when we pick our words for the year, 3 years ago, it was balance. But then the year after that, it was present. And this year it's restore. Those are my words. So there's been kind of a journey. And when I was, like she said, when I was first introduced to this business, I was so ready. I was stressed out. I had gotten my health back. I felt like it was a gift from God. I was so sick, and I just was so worried about my health. And the fact that I regained my health, I got my energy back and got to a healthier weight. And with the help of my doctor, was able to get off all the lifestyle medications. I just felt like I was totally blessed. So when they presented the business opportunity, it totally made sense because I knew I had to get out of that stressful job I was in. I was a collections manager. I was working another part-time job. I was a single mom. I felt like I was just running around all the time. And so I knew that I had to do something. And I wanted to build more flexibility in my life. I wanted no income ceiling. And most of all, I did not want to ask permission to take time off. So this made sense. But here's what happened. Because when we're working, we have an employee mindset, right? So I went from employee mindset right into having an entrepreneurial mindset. And when I decided to make the move, it seemed so simple. I thought, I got this. But what I didn't know is that I needed to be open to learning. I needed to be coached. I needed to learn new disciplines in my life because I had been an employee for 30 years. So I was pretty frozen. So Nikki will tell you I was the slowest starter out of the gate. So when I decided like, okay, I got to do something here. Like I need to figure this out. I decided to go to conference. Conference was a game changer for me. The light went on. I realized I wasn't moving because I wasn't learning. I wasn't moving and being open. So I went to Nikki and said, please help me. I know it's me that's stopping it and I need to get going. So, as business owners, we put so much blood, sweat, and tears into our business. I mean, we really do. It can be stressful when things don't go as planned. We don't get the customers we want. We don't get the partners that we think we're going to get, or we get partners and then they drift away. And so it can be kind of stressful. And so our inclination is to link our businesses to our own self-worth. And we do it, it's very, very subtle because, our businesses are our babies. So when our businesses are going great, what do? We feel like we're on top of the world. But when we reach those challenging times, sometimes it becomes difficult to see our own value outside of our businesses, to see who we are instead of what we do. And so it's a slippery slope because we start to blend our self-worth with our businesses. And sometimes along the way, our professional life and our business becomes a priority over our personal lives. And it's very, very subtle. And we start fitting in our personal needs and our personal relationships with the time that's left over. And that's where we get out of balance. We start just feeling a little burned out. We might be feeling like, oh my gosh, I just got so many priorities. And so stepping back and consciously choosing which pieces mean the most to you and how you're going to fit them into your life and what kind of a big of a chunk it's going to be takes a few minutes to really sit back and consciously think about what is possible and what could be. So now we have to, there we go. So one of the things we have to be familiar with is burnout. So we need to have a clear direction on finding our own personal work-life blend. We've heard for years about work-life balance, and it just doesn't exist. When we're dealing with burnout or different areas of our life that we feel like we have some exhaustion in, and I think we've all been there at times, we can feel like we're not being effective really in anything. So some of those areas in our life that we need to look at is when we're thinking about burnout is, are you experiencing pain? Whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, Is there any pain involved in your life right now, or exhaustion? Again, in those 3 areas, are you feeling exhausted? Is by the afternoon, are you totally ready for that nap? You know, is your patience running thin? And that could be with your kids, with your spouse, with your partners, with just about anything. Are you having fun with your team? Are you having no fun with your team? So that's another kind of indicator. Are you struggling with relationships? And that could be across the board. It could be customers, it could be team members, could be your spouse, your kids, but are you having some struggles? And an area that we really don't look at is our environment. So messy spaces, like when we become fragmented, sometimes our space looks a little fragmented. So that's something to be aware of. And the other thing is phone hand. Like, is your phone constantly in your hand? Like, I've done it, so I know. Like, sometimes it's like, put the phone down, you know? And then increase priorities. Sometimes we can begin to feel like everything is a priority. So it could be our families the priority, or our business is a priority. We have so many priorities that we don't know really which one to focus on first. And then always trying to seek perfection in all that we do. So it's just some little things to just be aware of that could happen, that might give you an idea, you know, that I need to work on something. So now let's talk about this work-life balance that they always talk to us about. There is no work-life balance. You know, when it comes to juggling work and personal lives, there's something that you just have to know, like that doesn't exist, that work-life balance. They talked to us for years. So when we think about that, what we're doing is we're segregating little sections of our life. We're putting our relationships over here. We're putting our self-care over here. We're putting our health over here. And so instead of having it blend and work with us, we've separated them. So it feels a little fragmented and not real flexible. So to change and shift from work-life balance over to work-life blend, we need to look at 4 areas. So we need to look at setting good boundaries, knowing your values, making choices that matter, and creating habits to thrive. So let's see how we do this. So repeat after me. Boundaries are my friend. Okay.
Boundaries are my friend.
That's right. So it's true. Like if you have rules or boundaries, it can make a difference in your productivity. It can make a difference in your happiness every single day. So you might be asking yourself, so like, how do you know so much about boundaries and protecting my time? Well, Chris Cotton was the one that really asked me a question one time that just kind of blew my mind. So we're at a conference. I had my hands in all kinds of nonprofits. I was super busy. I wasn't really paying attention to really anything. And he stopped for a second at dinner and he said, "What are you willing to give up?" And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because he was right. I was not doing justice to anything. I was so busy and so fragmented that I really wasn't moving anything forward. So boundaries can be your friend. So we need to learn a little bit more about, you know, like, how do we set them? Like, what do we do? So one of the things that Nikki has taught me that's helped me immensely, first of all, is to be able to say, let me think about that. How many times have you been asked to do something? You're in the middle of a room full of people and somebody says, you know, I really want you to bake like 5 dozen cookies and have them at the school tomorrow. And you're like stuck. Like you feel like I don't know what to say, or somebody needs you to take them someplace and you've already got something planned and you don't know what to say. The best thing that Nikki has taught me is to be able to say, let me think about that. Because it's not saying yes and it's not saying no, but what it allows you to do is to step back, go home and see, is this going to serve me? Is that going to serve me? And if it's not going to serve you and it's just going to cause frustration and anxiety, then you can go back to the person and say, you know, at this time, it's just not going to work for me. And that's okay to be able to do that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit here is, have you ever had people in your life that kind of lean on you? Like they're leaning on you to point them in the right direction. They're leaning on you to help with something else. And it could be relationships. It could be your team members. What I'm learning to do better is to ask some questions. So one of the questions that I like to use is, how can I best help you? So you're not immediately just going out to help them. You're asking the questions. Or what would you like me to do? That's another really great one. What have you tried? Sometimes we don't even ask what they've tried, you know, or what are you trying to achieve? So being able to ask more questions of the person is going to help you to not take on a lot of other people's stuff. Okay. So honoring and respecting yourself allows you to honor and respect other people. So one of the things that we need to start with is defining like one or two things. So here's where your paper and pencil, I'm going to stop for just about 30 seconds and you don't need to make it difficult, but are there one or two things that you're trying to get out of your personal life or your professional life? So take just a few seconds and see if there's something that you are trying to get out of your personal life or your professional life, and naming what you can't live without versus what you're wishing for. So something you cannot live without in your personal life or your business life. So just put the pencil to the paper. So what this is going to help you with is to distinguish between hard and soft boundaries. So for me, a hard boundary is one that is a non-negotiable. So a non-negotiable for me is my time in the morning. I spend time with God in prayer, devotion. I do some visioning. I love to spend time with my husband before he gets ready to go to work. I have that blocked off in my calendar. It is something that it's just a non-negotiable. It comes before anything. So that would be a hard boundary. Now, a soft boundary would be one that could be flexible, something that you can bend with. And that's the important thing, is being able to learn how to say no with love, learning some phrases like, let me think about that, defining what's important to you. Okay. So let's go to the next screen. So how we start learning how to do that is to be guided by values. Are you in alignment with your personal values? So, you know, are you clear about what's important in your life? Now, this is really important to come up with because, like most people, you're probably searching for a richer, more meaningful life in your relationship or your business, in your workplace. And it's important that our values are in alignment with our workplace. It's super important because we put a lot of energy into that. So one of the ways to get started in answering that question is be clear about what's important in your life. When you clarify your values, you can use them to set your goals. You can create the habits that you need to have to cultivate them. And we all have values that guide and shape our decisions. So these values are often deeply held beliefs about what's important in your life. Knowing your values is essential for having a meaningful life. And so how do we get to that place? So understanding those values and what's important is going to help you to greater fulfillment. And I think the one person that comes to mind again is Chris Cotton, because every single day he found joy and he found fulfillment every single day. So reflect daily on why you're doing the work you're doing. Why are you doing that? Really reflect a little bit of time every single day and list out your values and check to see if your environment is still in alignment with you. So the more you do this, the more you're going to see that your work and your life is going to begin to align with everything that you're doing. So super important. Be clear about what's important in your life. And what areas do they fall into? Is it relationships or financial, spiritual, health, serving, personal, your personal stuff, your business stuff? You really need to take it apart. What is important in those areas of your life? Okay. So now we can make choices that matter. Okay. So a lot of people think that when you do self-care, it's selfish. And I am here to tell you it's not. It's super important. We cannot pour from an empty cup. We need to be able to pour into ourselves so that we have enough to pour out to other people. So self-care could look like reading, taking a walk. It could be working out. It could be swimming, pickleball, whatever that looks like for you. It could be prayer time, meditation. Figure out what feeds your soul in the self-care arena. And here's the thing. Take a few minutes after the call and write down the things that you love to do to relax. So get real clear. What do I love to do to relax? Now ask yourself, am I doing these on a daily basis? Super important. Are you doing them on a daily basis? And do you have time carved out for them? So if not, you're not spending some time with your values of what's important to you. Okay? So self-care is pretty important. The other thing is to unplug. We all need to unplug. We need to set the phone down. We need to turn off text. Sometimes I will go ahead and just check Voxer in the morning, check Voxer in the evening. People know if it's important, they're going to text me. But being able to set the phone down and unplug every single day, because I can guarantee you your relationships will grow when you set that phone down. And create a support network. Keep people close to you that are going to help support you in your new journey. And then scheduled me time. It's super important to help you keep healthy in body and soul and your spirit, and put it on your calendar. And then operate within your own strengths. If your strength is not social media, I will tell you, Patty has given everyone the ability to post on social media. But here's something. I was talking to someone the other day. She doesn't like social media. She hired her teenager. She has all the posts ready, and she hired her teenager to post 4 times a week. And she just has them listed out, and she's now getting it done. It doesn't mean that we have to do it. If there's a post there that your teenager can do, pay him to post. Okay, take it off of you. Operate within your strengths. And then have intentional focus and activity. And here's another one. Like Heidi has developed incredible power hours. I have a time blocked every single day to work my business. And I can do more in 2 hours than I can when it's not on my calendar. And you can change it to you. Maybe it's 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at lunch and a half hour in the evening. But have that intentional focus and activity, and then you're going to have plenty of time for the things that matter in your life. So circle back around to all of those and figure out which ones that you can work in, and make some notes about how it's going to help you. So lastly, create habits to thrive and not survive. So this is super important. Have your clear priorities. Prioritizing your life is going to help you have that blend. Okay, it's going to help you focus on high priority tasks versus low priority tasks. And then be flexible. I mean, you can establish your boundaries, but we got to have flexibility in our lives for things that come up out of the blue that we weren't prepared for. And no one size fits all. My work-life blend is going to look very different than somebody else's. And then use technology to your advantage. This is super important. Like if you can hire somebody to do that, I use Project Broadcast. I have somebody that takes care of my customers. It takes something off of me that really helps me focus on other areas in my business. And then, make sure that you're having open communication. Be open with your team members and your family. Be vulnerable about what your needs are or your struggles are at. You know, make sure that you are prioritizing on your calendar. I can't begin to tell you how important that is because it'll help you establish the habit. Just take time for you, take time for that walk, take time for that meditation, take time for your business, all of that. If you time block, it's really going to help you. And then commit to following your blend. You know, it's a journey and it takes a little while, but I will tell you that it's really, it causes your life to just blend into this beautiful music that helps you be more present with your family and your relationships, and yet be more present for your business that you're trying to grow. And then continually adapt. Just be aware of what's going on around you and what's going on in your life, and have some patience. Give yourself grace, and remember that good things take time. So I'm just going to conclude by letting you know that your goal is to weave work and personal commitments together more seamlessly. Do not let the life part of the equation get fully absorbed in the whirl of work. It is an art rather than a science. So keep trying until you find the type of blended scenarios that work best for you. And most of all, have fun. That's it.
Wow, Kerrie. I took 2 pages of notes and screenshotted your slides because boy, oh boy, I could relate. Yes. Wow, wow, wow.
Can you stop
I
sharing,
could relate to so
Kerrie?
many of them.
Great.
Pardon?
Oh, she wanted me to stop share, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, just so powerful. And there's, you know, we could go on with this topic for another 2 hours, but, you guys have such a resource in, Kerrie, and it sounds like, she may share her slides with us too, but. Wow, a lot of food for thought. I'm going to pull out my journal and go do a little self-care and self-reflection after this. And that's really what the whole design of Transformational Tuesday is to really bring these topics that help us dive deep. So our next Transformational Tuesday will be May 14th. I do not know who will be presenting yet, but that's part of the fun of this, is just who emerges and when. And I feel like the timing of who steps up and says, me, I'm ready to share with our community, is just always perfect. So thank you for attending tonight. And Nikki, unless you have more, you could take it off record and Facebook share.
You're muted, Nikki.
You are absolutely one of the best introducers and setup of a presentation. It's just so beautiful the way you introduce Kerrie. I mean, I just need to say that everybody hears, because there's something special that you do that just feels like we're just being held. It's really beautiful. And Kerrie,
Thank you.
man, that was an impressive, really fabulous presentations. The slides were not only beautiful, but really meaningful. So I just want to put a big shout and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks
It was
for asking.
amazing, Kerrie. Perfect timing.
Good.
I know. Yeah, there we go. I was trying to get the same thing.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
Hearts.
never quite sure how to get those
There
hearts
we go.
going, but
There you go.
yeah.
And then Nikki's really good at getting the celebration stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Thanks,
Good.
everybody.
So,
All right, thanks.
good night, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night.